We're here to look at some pretty fantastic history, men of the Tuskegee experience. So come fly with me into yesterday. These are artistic renditions from photos of the men, planes, and patches. This assembly has proven to be a delight to old and young. We have here two panels, the first with 19 men introduced by Corey Bowles, the second with 32 men introduced by Kyle Bowles. Here are some of the highlights of these men. Let's look at the grouping of 19, pointing to the P-51 planes. We have the D model with its distinctive bubble canopy and the C model with its razorback design, made for better airspeed. Now, let's look closely at the men, pilots, and a few of their exceptional mechanics. In this distinguished group, we must make note of Roger Bill Terry. He was the only airman convicted in the Freeman Field incident and pardoned 50 years later. They even gave him back his fine. Here we have Bill Ellis, later to become an attorney. He and fellow pilot Lowell Stewart were charter members of the Los Angeles chapter of the national organization. This is Lee Archer, the only ace with 5 kills in Germany. After the war, he became a very successful businessman, president of American Foods, Inc. Here we see Mitch Higginbotham, who granted himself the title of Ambassador of Goodwill in behalf of the experiment and its participants. He still travels today, denoting their accomplishments. Here's Paul Lehman, a B-29 navigator who later became a military instructor at Howard University. Lehman is followed by Chappie James, who is most noted for becoming the first general of the men of the Tuskegee experience. Lehman and James are further noted for later mentoring Lester Lyles, a recently retired 4-star general of great prominence. Now, thanks to Kyle, we'll go on to look at the second panel. We see planes depicted in action and more men of note. The panel is quite attractive, don't you think? There's action, there's excitement, there's curiosity. Wanting to note more of the pilots? First, there's Willis Duffy, who became an MD. This is Willis Duffy. He went on to become a dentist. He also started the Tuskegee Mural Foundation in Palm Springs, California, giving us a great mixture of history and art. Now we see Spanky Roberts, who served as second in command at the World War II airfield in Ramatelli, Italy. Colonel Benjamin O. Davis II, leader of these men. He was a West Point graduate, a pilot, and went on to become a general in the United States Air Force. His men credit his leadership for much of their success. This part of the panel makes you look at the planes as though you were almost watching them in person. Let's identify these planes. This is a B-25 bomber. Next, we have the P-40 fighter. And the P-47 bubble top fighter. Next to note is Robert Higginbotham. He went on to become an MD. He's the younger brother of Mitch Higginbotham, whom we noted earlier, and served as president of the Mural Foundation. Here's Bob Williams. He wrote the movie, ultimately shown on HBO. It took him 40 years to get it filmed and produced. But what a wonderful piece of art provided for us. John Lehman, brother of Paul Lehman, was a P-51 pilot. Served while his brother was a bombing navigator. Here we find the planes. They look almost as though they're moving. Great artistry. We can feel what they're doing. Time makes us unable to discuss all the men, but we don't want to forget Dr. Roscoe Brown. He had the privilege of shooting down the first German jet, and after the war he earned a doctorate degree and was head of a New York college. We also have here Colonel Charles McGee, a superb pilot who flew in 3 wars, World War II, Korean War, and Vietnam. It's unknown how many missions he flew in total on our behalf. Now we have Lowell Stewart, the first president of the Los Angeles Tuskegee Airmen chapter and a charter member. After exiting the military, Stewart became a very successful real estate mogul. Last of note is Hannibal Cox, a terrific fighter pilot with a number of kills and very much respected by his peers.